take a look at what we're playing. Maybe we'll get Coastline again, and we'll get another 6-2 on it.
Maybe. Well, let's take a look at the map V2. And if we play Coastline and we get a 6-2, then we're for 3 for 3.
We've had some of those nights before, you know, where it's just everything lines up.
Wow.
So far, though, it's not banned. And
Don't ban Bank. Don't ban Bank.
Here
Don't
it comes,
you do it.
and okay, there we go. Bank it is. All right, that was close. That was close.
Yeah, so we will see actually a different map today. Surprise, surprise. Pretty exciting. Bank going to be played here. I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, this should be good matchup here. Bank is definitely one that is interesting to see, especially in the current meta. And I'd say with the new operators as well, can be played interestingly on this map, especially with that bottom bomb site. But we'll see if that ends up being a thing or if they just end up banned out.
Yeah, Bank is a great map, and it hasn't been played too much this season, but it also hasn't been completely put into a corner. So it's nice to see it coming out. The new operators definitely can influence it quite a bit. However, I think Maverick is less useful here.
Yeah.
One thing that Maverick is not good at, opening up reinforced dropdowns. So opening up a reinforced dropdown is pain. There are some good positions on the secondary bomb sites, such as archives and tellers. If you can get yourself into the small office just outside of open area, start opening up holes there, you can, as a Maverick, single-handedly deal with all of the defenders inside of archives and allow for very easy push-ins for the open area, or the square skylight, as some people like to call it. So, community vote. Who's going to win this match? Why don't you tell us?
Who will it be? Well,
yeah, well, that's pretty one-sided.
I mean, that makes sense given the standings, though. That seems about appropriate if you're just going off of that alone.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do always wonder, is this some people thinking this is the same Penta, though? You know, we have that issue.
Well, it's hard to tell. Like you said, Penta in 3rd place right now, so they're in a really good spot, whereas Chaos is in 7th. Yeah. So standings alone would suggest that this is a sensible community vote. So
yeah,
there you go. They also have been correct all through today. 86% for G2, they won it. Yeah. 55% for Mocket, they won it. So yeah, will they be 3 for 3 is the question. Will you guys be 3 for 3?
I would say those last two were a little more predictable based off standings, and this one is as well. So if they win those, it's not like they won long shots. I say one as if they win something, but, you know, I mean, community vote being right. But they were right a lot yesterday, and I think the community seems to be getting a little more on point when it comes to making their predictions these days.
I'm looking at these matches we have today. Chaos versus Penta is what we've got going on right now. And Vitality versus Secret will be the last one for the day. And I'm not seeing any of these as being very close, if I'm being honest.
Vitality versus Secret is the one I see with the highest chance of being close, outside of the Millennium G2, which was not. So maybe that'll be another 6-2 for Vitality Secret.
Sure, but I mean, Secret's been getting so much better so rapidly. But here we go. Bank will be loading in, and it's going to be Penta defense, Chaos attack, which means Penta will be banning first.
We'll see what gets slapped off the board here. We could see the Clash get banned. It is sometimes useful for that bottom bomb site, maybe sometimes for other ones, but that depends on whether or not you consider it too big of a problem, because we saw, for example, the way Eunice was playing, it didn't end up being too big of a problem for Millennium. But Lion, the first predictable ban, that is going to go for Penta, so they're not going to have to deal with that. But the second one is going to be a little more of a question mark here on this particular map. We don't necessarily see a lot of hard breaches, but occasionally Hibana will get banned, for example, on this map, which makes it, you mentioned the drop downs can be problematic. In this case, it's going to be Ying, though, which, I mean, can be a problem on this map, but I don't see that as being really as big a deal to deal with, as opposed to Glaz, for example, on that lobby.
I totally agree with you. I think Glaz would probably be a more sensible ban here. Probably just trying to get rid of Hungary, I guess. I mean, we know that Hungary is a really good.
I hope they've given up at this point on that, because it's just at some point you're just playing into his hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we haven't. I think in general, while Ying is a very good operator, maybe not the best operator to ban out on Bank, but doesn't really matter. It's done now, and we'll see how it affects this match.
Well, we're going to start down on lockers, which is not a huge surprise. Occasionally, teams will start on something like CEO, but it is a little rare. Renewals is potentially going to be bringing out that Maverick, and we'll see if that matters. As they're going to have then 3 hard breachers. I imagine they might 6-pick off one of those, though. You don't need 3 of them. I mean, sure, there are some walls and hatches you really like to open, but that seems a little bit overkill. We'll see, though, as the 6-pick phase continues on here. So far, nothing coming out from either team. There we go. As I say that, Panic's going to sneak over to something he plays very well, so it's not a huge surprise. And there's the one off of Maverick 2. He'll leave us hanging here. Watch him just do it just back to Maverick. Because he can't think of who else. Nope. Blackbeard. Well, that should be fun for Renewals. Renewals, we know, also can be a very, very good Montaigne. So it's almost surprising to see him not play that because he can play and bully very, very well with Monty. In this case, though, he's still playing with a shield on his face, which is a shield nonetheless. So at least they're only going to go with the double hard breacher, which makes a little more sense here on this map.
Yeah, having 2 hard breachers means you have an abundance of options. You can open up all of the drop downs and also the default wall inside of server, should you need the thermite for that. Currently unreinforced, but you know, some teams like to open it a little bit. Some people like to reinforce it. It's just kind of team preference. It's a bit of a rock, paper, scissors game. Do they have a thermite? Or have they brought a buck, you know, an ash maybe to open up the wall if you don't reinforce it?
Yeah.
What tools do the attackers have? Here, Mocket will choose to, you know, it happens every time. These are the names, man. It's,
Yeah.
Here, Penta will choose to reinforce fully the server. And of course, if you're wondering what's going on here, why do these guys have Mocket next to their name? Well, you can only change your name every 30 days on Uplay. And of course, this team used to be Mocket, and now they are Penta.
Yeah.
So that happened within, I guess, the last 30 days of them changing their name.
Well, Renewal's already taking down Hungry. What was he doing in Garage as Smoke? I guess we'll never know. Unfortunately for him, that was probably one of the worst things he could have done early
Probably. A little bit of a blunder there as a Smoke peeking into Garage. Losing your life to a Blackbeard is no big surprise, though. Garage is kind of one of those positions that isn't always pressured by the attackers.
But
so sometimes
you have
you're safe to
Echo do it, right? Because he's
Right.
got the long range of the MP5, and you're not exactly long range on Smoke now that the recoil is a little harder to control on the SMG-11, and your alternative is pretty much the shotgun. So,
Also, in general, Garage is actually a sensible place to put your Echo. Some people will open up that Garage wall, play Echo inside of Garage aggressively, and then through the Garage wall, through the A site wall, and through those little bars in the red hallway, you can get a pretty dastardly angle onto any attackers pushing from server. Crip's going to have that drop down open. Will call out the position of his opponent just underneath for making a rotation hole. You can see Chaos have well-established control over the top 2 floors already. And this Habana X Garros is going to give Renewals the ability to dictate any rotation in and out of the red hallway, which is so very powerful when pushing the bottom floor.
yeah, they've got a lot of good angles set up here. Sir Boss might try and challenge them, but that's going to be risky. At this point, they almost kind of need to bait some of the attackers into them and burn some time and force them to be punished for holding the angles they're holding. Otherwise, this is going to be a tough fight.
Snookin so very close to his opponents. Vaughn just calling out information here, but he is basically stuck behind the server stack at this point. Clearing out the ADS and the follow-up from the lifeline. You can see Chaos going for the rush of the Pulse. Red Groove will get that frag, and Chaos extend their lead, but look at this. 35 seconds left, and they don't have a lot of time to make the actual site push, as much as they have such a man advantage. You can see Renewals trying to cut off that rotation, and he will fail utterly as Panic simply walks on by. Yokai Drone still in a position to deny the defuse plant. Sir Boss will get the first kill for Penta onto Crips, but he has been shut down as well by Secretly. Yokai Drone, great positioning here, and he's trying to play the time as much as possible with only 11 seconds. He has 2 Yokai Drones to watch hit the planter right now, and it just seems like he's going to be able to hold it out, but no, Renewals pushes his way into the vault and finishes off enemy. A nice try there for Penta, but ultimately Chaos just had the fragging power to win the round.
Yeah, had someone been left alive to cover Echo, I feel like that definitely would have worked. 2 Yokai drones there in 2 different positions like that was well played. Smart way to do it because he could have delayed for quite a while with that. But nonetheless, the attack setup and the swiftness of the take around the site did give him that little bit of extra time to play with when it came down to the push. And it worked in the end. So CEO actually going to be the secondary try here. As even though they didn't win, they're going to switch bomb sites. So we'll see if CEO is going to work out a little bit better for them. But that was a good start for Chaos. They just need to maybe execute on the site itself a little faster. It was surprising to see Panix get away with his running past the hole. But then ultimately ran into red hallway later. And Renewals just finished him off, no problem.
Yeah, I think the only real problem that Chaos had in the last round was, I agree with you, is the slowness in their attack. But they managed to make it work. That's the important thing, as we so often talk about. Now, CEO as the next site. This is a much more exposed site than the bottom floor, but it also means that you can use the amount of angles, the abundance of angles, to overwhelm your opponents as a defender. And sometimes the attackers aren't going to be able to cover every single thing. So openness is not necessarily a bad thing for defense as it is so often assumed to be. It's just something that you as a team have to coordinate to utilize.
Yeah, and it's typical for this site, partially regarding the openness. They're going to be bringing at least one ACOG of Doc from enemy. Pretty typical to see that on this site. Is a lot of good long angles you want to be able to fight, and if you have no ACOG, it's definitely not something you could do that with. Of course, we definitely talk about, of course, ACOGs a lot more on defense because pretty much everyone has them on attack. It's just the case of on defense, they're down to a select few 3 armors now. So you really kind of choose them wisely, and sometimes that is the main reason for picking them, is not necessarily for their gadget, which is nice, but more so for their ability to fight those long fights.
So, still going to the start of this round here for Chaos. Looks like they're going to be trying to clear in through the main lobby as Red Groove starts to drone out ATMs. Interesting that they're going to go for that. Possibly just trying to set up a pinch attack strategy. Is that you can see they're also going for the very typical push in through the square skylight. Crip's going to be the tip of the spear on that one. As he uses his Jackal to detect one of his opponents, it's not really going to change anything about the way that Hungry chooses to play. I mean, he's playing Smoke with a shotgun instead of Storage. Even if they know where he is, that's still a huge problem that it's going to be hard to surmount.
Well, at least that's going to help to know that they don't want to peek that because they know he's a shotgun. So there is some, I suppose, advantage in that intel. It's interesting to see Jackal running the PDW as well.
Slow going here. Great position for Renewals. As a Blackbeard, very ideal to be on that north rappel. We'll see how much damage he can actually do from there. As you can see, Mocket are not playing too exposed to him. Yvonne's the closest thing he has to a target. Enemy holding that main hallway, but Chaos has chosen not to push immediately. Crips will actually drone out downstairs where Serbas is playing by the main stairs in a position to spring into action when enemy makes a call for it. This is a really good setup right now for Penta. They're just waiting to be prompted into action by Chaos.
Well, it's definitely going to happen in terms of action there from Penta. Revan with a somewhat risky move, although likely to get away with it, but nope, secretly there on the roof, able to punish it. Still worth it, though, in the castle, already having done his job for the most part, taking out a Blackbeard, worth the trade, but secretly gets another one there onto Hungry, and that's another important kill onto the Smoke.
Absolutely. We take down 2 operators for the price of 1 there, effectively. Make that 3. Snookin gets panics, and Penta losing players as they get eliminated. Enemy will land a shot onto Snookin though, so it's not all over here. Secretly pushed into the site, very well positioned on the bomb. Will take down enemy, leaving Serbas in the 1 versus 3. He's only got a delay for 20 more seconds, but the diffuser has been planted, so the time no longer in his favor. Sees his opponent, but just not landing enough shots. He will down Crips, but no kill. Information being called out by Crips, though, as he is still in play. And he will be calling Serbas's push into storage. It's going to be hard for him to find any real angles here onto the attackers. He's going to have to enter into a crossfire in order to win this round. He nearly hit secretly through the wall, but following the tracers secretly will be the one to actually execute his opponent. Chaos take 2 rounds in a row.
Well, this is a good start for Chaos on 2 different bomb sites. It wasn't even just repeating their success on one of them. So far for defense, it's definitely looking pretty bad for Penta. It's just seeming like these are some kind of sloppy defenses in a lot of ways. You're seeing a lot of mistakes being made. For example, the Smoke's dying early. You saw, I mentioned about Panics running past that big open hole and then running into Red Hallway later on when he knew Renewals was still there. They're just, I question a lot of the calls. I'm not sure who the IGL is at the moment on Penta, but it doesn't seem like they're just making the right decisions and it's being punished. I mean, I liked the jump out from Revan. It was a good kill on the Blackbeard. That was probably the smartest decision we saw that round from them. Just a lot of fights not being won, a lot of angles being played by Chaos. Renewal's doing his usual trick of pretending to play Maverick and then switching over to Blackbeard. A little predictable at this point. They are going to be going down to lockers again here. Now, of course, Chaos doesn't really have any way to be sure where the bomb site's going to be because they could continue to play CEO, they could go back to lockers, they could try their 3rd bomb site. because they haven't won anything yet, the predictability is not really there. So it's just going to be down to Chaos bringing the operators they want to bring regardless of the site for the most part. We'll see, though, if that can turn into some good damage. Secretly, and Renewal's doing a lot of damage for the team, and only 3 kills across 2 rounds from Penta. Unfortunate for them.
Back to the basement here for Penta. It's possible that they just are not comfortable on the defense of Bank, though. Gotta say, this is definitely a defendable site and definitely a defendable map. So the fact that they're struggling so much is not great for them. Of course, it's still early in the match. We've only got those 2 rounds so far. So they're going to need to start invoking some change if they want to have any success transitioning onto the second half.
Well, they are making one big change, and that's not having Hungry play the smoke. This time he's going to be playing Clash, something we have seen him do before. But it is, I would say, more useful to have the smoke, but at least they have the C4 of the Pulse as well as the Echo Drone.
Yeah. Clash playing inside of the garage, but he doesn't have his shield up, and Renewals! What a shot! Hungry goes down. Basically a free kill thanks to the excellent droning from Chaos. And that is not a great start for Penta. In fact, that right there might spell the doom for them in this round.
It certainly led to it to an extent in the previous round. I really got to question Hungry's decision-making, or whoever's making the decision to have him play in the garage there, because it's not just not worked out, it's not worked out spectacularly. He's just getting slaughtered every time, not even able to contest Renewals, and you got to predict that they're going to do the same thing again, because it's working so dang well.
Renewals knows he's going to have to push up here to get rid of that Jaeger, who is able to deny the Excaros on the garage wall. Because of the single disable, though, unfortunately, I don't think Chaos is going to be able to open up that red wall. They need the rest of those Habana Excaros to open the drop downs. But Crips will take out Sir Boss. Well, really nice angle play there from the Jackal. Props to Crips. And now another kill in the favor of Chaos. As Penta starts to lose more players yet again, they're looking really, really bad on this defense so far. Snookin had the angle, just did not go for the shot and missed out on an opportunity. Panic's going to continue to play on these server stairs.
He has played this position a lot in terms of this role, this operator in this particular position, so he knows it very well. He could even potentially run up on Snookin here, although in this case didn't have the opportunity. And now that's going to get open. That's going to put some additional pressure on the bottom of the stairs at least, but you have Ravon behind the server again, playing that Pulse.
One thing to note here is there are currently 2 players playing server right this minute, and that's 2 of the 3 total defenders, which means right now B is completely open. There's no one defending A either, really. So this is a large opportunity for Chaos if they should drone out, hey, 2 people in server, cut off server rotation. Snookin was tasked with that exact job, and he will make it happen on the second attempt. Now the last defender going to be trying to come out of server, but Snookin hits those pistol shots on a full HP Ravon, and Chaos win 3 in a row.
Definitely looking good for them. I would say defense on Bank is definitely not for Penta at the moment. It's not even down to like really excellent executions by Chaos. Not that the executions are bad, they're pretty decent. It's just we're seeing mistake after mistake being made by Penta.
We've seen this stuff happen though before. I mean, in pretty much yesterday, in the Latin American play day, Black Dragons versus Pain Gaming. Pain Gaming put themselves up 3 rounds, and they were looking so strong. And then suddenly Black Dragons, 5 in a row, and they win the match. So, I mean, there's still time for Penta to make the comeback happen here. There certainly is, and I think they might have a different playstyle when they switch up to attack. Maybe that's going to be enough for them to, if nothing else, get a draw. They lose all 5 of their defenses. Maybe they're going to win all 5 of their attacks, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the case of this matchup. But only time will tell. Now we're going to Teller's Archives for Rocket's next defense.
Probably
or rather,
for
Penta's next defense.
Yeah.
How many times is that going to trip me up?
Until they're able to change their name.
Yeah. It is really unfortunate that
especially when everyone's shuffling around these names right there.
Yeah, it was the transition period between. Honestly, this last roster change window we had after the Paris Major was huge for so many different teams, for orgs as well. I mean, we saw so many movements in every single region.
Yeah.
And usually you'll have 1 region, maybe 2 regions in those windows, just not make too many changes. But it was everywhere, man. It was everywhere. I mean, even Evil Geniuses, one of the the longest standing rosters that we've had in Siege, they made a change. So I think I think it's been a weird last couple months.
It certainly has been. It's worked out better for some than others, but definitely looking good for Chaos for once, who are a team who've definitely struggled a lot. So this is seeming like maybe they'll get a chance to make up for some lost points the way things are going so far. I mean, obviously 3 points is not 6, but they're halfway there and looking pretty good doing it because we're just not seeing a lot of pushback from the Penta guys. Like you said, maybe we'll see something when the halftime happens and they switch sides. But so far, the similar attacks have been working. This is a bomb site they have yet to attack, though.
Yeah, so there's going to prompt some change for both teams and possibly give an opportunity for Penta to get their first round win, but that's not a great start. Crips through the wall will take out Panics, following the excellent droning from his teammates. So this is some great coordination we've been seeing from Chaos, and it's going to happen again. You can see that Hungry is also, again, playing inside of that storage room on smoke, trying to hold the hard angle with his shotgun. Using his gas canisters very, very early, and that'll allow for a rotation back down to the site. But this is interesting, because that rotation exists now,
oh no,
it's going to be hard to defend this site. It's been left open for the attackers to use.
Not only that, but he left his footprints there for Crips to find, meaning his rotation wasn't as sneaky as he would have hoped it to be.
Yeah, you can see the pre-made holes there from Penta. They were hoping to get a kill as Hungry fell down, but thanks to Crips playing Jackal, just not going to happen. You can also see the rest of Chaos pushing in through that main lobby. So Chaos is doing two things, clearing the top floor and going for a main lobby take. And that is definitely a solid strategy. They also have players over by Square Skylight, though, so a little bit all over the place for Chaos. And if Penta should read this and try to clamp down on one of the most exposed areas of this attack, quite possibly this Thermite, then could be some free kills. But no, Snookin missing his shots. And that's going to prompt enemy to just fall all the way back.
Well, at least in his case, enemy didn't get the kill on him, which was, I would say, maybe a little more important because they still have the man advantage on attack. They didn't necessarily need to get that kill, but they are starting to run a little low on time.
Wow, through the floor, expecting the rotation for some boss. He will be downed, and you can see that Snookin is on top of it right now, finishing off Sir Boss, vaulting in an easy kill onto Ravon. What a flick. And he's got the position now of Archives well in hand. Enemy comes back to the server stairs, and Hungry coming out of the basement, so it's all up to the roamers from Penta to clutch this round out. Good positioning here from Enemy. He's got the automatic weapon against the pistol. He will win it. Crips does shut down his teammate, though. Will Enemy be able to get a second? No. Red Groove shuts him down, and Chaos win their 4th round in a row.
This is definitely the Chaos I wish we would have seen more often. This is they're just dismantling them. I mean, you get the Thermite fragging out as well as some great pre-fires. I mean, I like that Crips is taking advantage of his PDW to be able to just pre-fire through a ton of CEO wall because he's got that 51 mag gun. They're playing it to a T, and they're not even really having to change up roles for the most part. I mean, Renewal's doing his thing occasionally to switch between, or faking switching between Maverick and Blackbeard. Still might even go from this IQ to a Blackbeard just to kind of change it up slightly. So far, none of the roles are really working out for Penta.
Yeah, Penta's having a bit of a struggle here on defense. They need to at least salvage one round if they want to get a win, obviously. If Chaos win this next one, they get, if nothing else, a draw. So look at that 1 point if we get the draw. And they put themselves in a position to, if they win one round out of the next 5, then they just win outright. So it's currently looking very good for Chaos right now and very bad for Penta.
Yep. Well, we'll see if Renewals' change to the IQ offers any additional advantage, and I think there's a good chance it might. I would hope Hungry would not contest the garage one more time. Although in this case, at least it would be against a Blackbeard, but still, just repeating that mistake twice, despite the fact that you had a shield, you just, I don't know, the timing of it. I suppose he was shooting a drone, and it was a case where he was, off of it because of that, but...
There's definitely some better ways to contest the garage, I've got to be honest. The way that it's been happening so far for Penta has not been great. But, still, it's opportunity to change that. This is the 3rd time that Penta has defended the basement, and if the record holds, it will be the 3rd time they failed to hold it.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Well, we'll see if they're going to get any additional usage out of that IQ in terms of spotting the pulse, but at the same time, he's probably going to be playing behind servers like he has predictably pretty much every time, which means it doesn't matter too much to do that. They are going to have Crypts on that Jackal again as well, though, which means if anyone goes for the roam, chances are he'll catch them out, and they won't be roaming for too long, so it'll mostly be a turtle defense, which it pretty much has been so far.
Slow take here to Chaos. They're just going to drone out open area. There are no roamers here, but to contend in open area, which makes sense. It's kind of dangerous, especially when you're going up against such an efficient Jackal like Crypts. Crypts has been doing a lot of great work for his team so far at clearing out the roamers.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he'll continue to do so. He's also been making decent use of the weapons. Rather than use the Hibana for this hatch, though, they don't necessarily need 2 Thermite charges, so they're just going to go with it right there. They haven't really had to pressure the normal wall that Thermite would blow. They've been mostly focused on having him open up additional hatches so that Hibana instead could focus up on opening up lines of sight through the reinforced walls, which has been an interesting reversal of roles to an extent.
No immediate kill early in the round for Chaos, though, and that is the big difference between this and the other attempted defense of the basement. So that does bode well for Penta. And Chaos, on the other hand, are going to have to work a little bit more to win this round. Man. I just, I read the names.
Yeah.
Penta,
That's what you're supposed to do.
yet again, going to be in full control of the basement. They haven't lost anything just yet, and Chaos seems to not be applying nearly as much pressure to that garage. So it's a big factor of their attack that they are not going to have anymore. Chaos, though, has flashed out the Ella, and the pre-fire from Snookin will catch Panics as he attempts to peek. Ravon, though, with the Vengeance, and we'll get a double kill onto Secretly and Snookin.
Revengeance.
Revengeance, thank you. Renewals now in the garage. He doesn't have the angle open into red garage or into the red hallway, but does have a decent chunk of control to deny any rotations. Slow going here, though, in the last 35 seconds. You can see he's just looking for the angles. But the last defenders are choosing to play as slowly as possible, remembering the last couple of times they tried to defend this site. Gas canister to deny the push from garage. Red Groove will take out Ravon, one of the most forward defenders inside of that server stack.
15 seconds left.
Here comes the push from the IQ. Sir Boss will land his shots. Renewals won't. Crypts, though, takes out Hungry. That's red hallway in control of the attackers. Yokai drone still in play with so little time. It might be a clutch with the Yokai. 2 seconds left, and it looks like a missed jump from enemy. But will he have time? No, it looks like he's going to get off his drone and go for an actual gunfight. Crypts will land one onto Sir Boss. The planter has been taken out by enemy. Crypts on so low HP, and enemy's going to clutch it. Finally, Penta managed to take a round at the butt end of their defensive half.
That was what it shouldn't have even been that close for Penta. They had such an advantage early on, but just down to desperation at the end there. I feel like the execute from Chaos, of course, was different than the previous executes, and I feel like the other ones were maybe a little bit better. They struggled a little bit more with this one, but also Ravon getting some great plays from that hatch. They were so focused on pushing Panics out of those stairs that they just were not properly watching that, and that did cost them 2 players, so that was definitely a big mistake. Of course, also Hungry not dying at the beginning of the round was a big help, having that extra manpower there, so good on Penta for clutching that out, but definitely so close that I don't know if I'll see much of a comeback here, although they now switch sides, so maybe they'll do a little bit better on attack than they have been doing on defense. Interesting starting bomb location here for Chaos. Tellers is not the usual place you're going to see them start, or anyone start, really. So we'll see if that works out for him. Revan faking like he's going to play the Ash, bringing in the other hard breacher now, and the Castle coming out instead of Pulse.
The most disorienting thing is that it's not Mocket because
Yeah.
you just casted
Right.
Mocket. Like 10 minutes ago, it
And
feels
funny
like.
thing is, if Hungry hadn't left the team, he would still have the correct name.
Right. But man, those names. Anyway, so finally Chaos get to transition onto defense. They are going to choose to go to Tellers first. Clearly favoring the openness of the site versus the basement. I think that's the right call given the way that Chaos has been playing, though. We'll see how they choose to defend this. There's a lot of difference between how aggressive you play on attack versus how aggressively you will play on defense. Though it looks like Chaos is going to be investing heavily in roaming, most notably by the kitchen open area. And that's obvious given the reinforcements. Pretty standard cameras, but that's a really nice one that will get you some decent information. It'll see everybody on the roof, and it'll get most of the people who are pushing in through the square skylight.
And definitely what you want is you want a lot of intel in there because people are definitely going to be potentially pushing you from that back area, and you really want to watch out for those flanks because you're going to be focused a lot on lobby. So being able to see behind you, going to make it a lot easier, especially if you lose some teammates early on. They can watch that flank for you.
I really like the setup here from Chaos. They are going for the basement roam, the open area roam. Very much an off-site presence is their focus right at this moment. And we've seen that actually be very successful on Teller's Archives before. Now, PENTA have managed to stave off absolute defeat in the first half. They didn't end it 5-0, which is really what they needed. Now, the odds of them winning this match are very, very slim.
No, they're working towards our third 6-2.
Yeah, they are definitely doing that. So the odds of them winning this match are very, very slim, but they still are in running for a draw. As much as they are, as well, in running for a win. It's just going to be difficult to win that many rounds in a row, again, especially considering how well Chaos has been playing this match thus far.
Absolutely. And like you said, their setup is very good on this bomb site, and that, of course, is why they went to this bomb site as their primary, because they feel fairly confident in this strat. We'll see, though, if PENTA are able to pick it apart a little bit. Obviously, they're doing a lot of droning to figure out the setup first, figure out how they want to attack it. But like you said, with all the roam play going on, unless they can start to pinch out those roamers and get some kills going, they're going to run short on time to do that, as it's already a minute 30 in. You did hear a C4, though, not connect, so that is one less for the defenders.
Yep. And Panics as the sledge above the site. Perfect operator for this situation. He's going to be able to do some damage from above and cut off a lot of rotation between A and B, which seems to be his primary focus at this moment in time. He's also hunting for these operators. He sees the castle, but is unable to land the shot. Oh, he finally will. Crips goes down at the last minute. And Chaos still in this, as they are focused on the off-site presence, but man advantage for PENTA. Slow going here. Again, they're aware of these roamers on the main stairs, but secretly is going to be able to deny any push onto the A site, at least close to him. Though the big desk is relatively uncovered, so that is a position that PENTA could exploit. Chaos also holding B from off-site. As you can see, Red Groove is the one holding Archives right this minute. There are no anchors right now, none whatsoever. So that's a big point to note with the Chaos defense. Renewals is on his Yokai drone, so that's going to be a lot of the primary anti-plan. And as we come down to the last 15 seconds, this actually could be just enough to clutch it out. PENTA have read the room perfectly and know where they need to plant the diffuser, know where is least defended. But as they get the Yokai drone, Renewals doesn't have any more, and in fact, it's only Snookin in a 1 versus 5. He could have denied the diffuser just there, but it did not happen. Too little time on that plant. Hungry will get the final kill. A well-played round for PENTA, and they put themselves 4-2, so it's not all over for them.
Unfortunately for them, playing primarily off-site, you need to be able to retake faster and not lose a lot of your people doing it. Great idea with the Yokai, but I would say have a backup in that situation. If you're going to be playing that far off-site, have a secondary one set up for that, like we saw on a previous defense down in the lockers from the other team. It's just, they put a lot of eggs in that basket, and it absolutely could have worked. They wouldn't have had to fight a single fight. They could have just completely denied with 2 Yokais, but didn't play it well enough on that. And despite the good setup, we will probably see that bomb site again, though, once they go back to it, which they most likely will. They're going to play lockers now, though, as their secondary, so they don't have to switch, but they're going to, something we saw as a pattern from PENTA as well on their defense. We're seeing a similar attack lineup for the most part coming out from PENTA that we saw from Chaos. Some slight modifications to it.
Yep. I definitely agree with you. I think Chaos needed some backup in that last round. You cannot rely on a Yokai drone to deny a plant. Even in the last 15 seconds, you need to have something else, some other factor, anything really. But they didn't have that, and it would have been relatively easy to achieve. I mean, just stick one player with a C4 or gas canister inside of Archives. Then bam, you're done.
They only had one C4, and they used it early in the round as well.
Though the smoke could have played inside of Archives pretty easily. I mean, he was playing a lot by the open area. Just rotate through open area, small office, Archives, bam, you're there.
Yeah.
Deny the plant. We're at GG. Well, at least you get the 5 the 5-1 situation, and then you put yourself at a, if nothing else, a draw.
Yeah.
So no win for Penta in that instance. But now the opportunity for Penta to come back is, well, very much more apparent.
We will see our first vigil as well of the day from Crips. Should be interesting. On this map in particular, it is a good one to have, although Sir Boss gonna be his biggest counter.
Yeah. Of course, the Jackal has been instrumental in clearing out the roamers for both teams thus far. I think I have to say Crips was doing really great as the Jackal in the first half.
Yeah.
We'll see if Sir Boss can live up to that standard. Let's see, Mocket, or Penta, already applying a lot of pressure to this top floor. They're going to be cutting off rotation in the main hallway. But it happened last week, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Well, hopefully
I think it was
third
Parker
base
and I then.
almost up. Yeah. Wow.
Nice shot. Wow. Excellent job there for Hungry. Secretly goes down. Just extremely early in the round. You can see the power of peeking some of those unexpected angles. Usually that skylight isn't played very much by anyone, but here it will be.
Well, definitely paid off for him. Hungry doing much better on attack than he was doing on defense, that's for sure. Seeming like he had a good round last round as well, and strong start to this one, although they are looking to push him now. Of course, this is some good teamwork. If Crips is not found and Renewals is able to bait them out, could see some good plays here. They are going to try and shoot them through the floor, which is a nice idea. Unfortunately, it didn't work. There is the drone droning them, but I don't think it matters too much because they kind of know where they're going to be going. They just need to get downstairs now to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Nice use of the Zofia onto that clash. Unfortunately, not very much damage being done, but that's really great utility.
Ooh.
Sir Boss from behind, though, able to take out Crips, and the melee will secure the kill onto Renewals as well, pushing that clash shield out of the way, allowing for him to just blow her apart. Now it's only 2 players for Chaos. 2v5. This is very intimidating for these last defenders, and it looks like we've got a 4-3 situation on our hands. So what we expected to happen will come to fruition, where, yeah, you know, your first 4 rounds, very much one-sided, but we've seen greater comebacks before.
Yeah, definitely looking like potential here for that. Depends on how this is played, but Snook at least winning that fight, but he takes so much damage, he's not going to be great in a clutch situation at this point.
Yeah. He still has, I believe, some gas canisters in hand, so he can potentially deny a push, but here we go. From the drop-downs over by Vault, there are already 2 attackers in. Snukin now completely surrounded. Red Groove going to get a kill onto Hungry, but he's shut down by Sir Boss, who is there for the backup. That's the power of extra warm bodies. Sir Boss gets the final kill, and see, Penta will win the round.
Sir Boss and Hungry, definitely the MVPs of that round. Some great plays by them. And a great take, and this is looking very attacker-sided on this map, I'd say. So far, just 1 defensive win.
Yep. So, Teller's Archives and Office.
This is where we see them hopefully make those adjustments. Now, of course, if they're using the same setup for the most part, though, that means that Penta are going to be able to read into that. But at the same time, if they make the right adjustments in denying it, that'll be good. It did come down to they probably could have taken site a lot faster, knowing that they were playing off-site rather than doing a lot of the droning and clearing that they were doing. They could try that this round, in which they could be collapsed upon as well. So they're going to have to be careful on this attack. You know, just because they're playing off-site doesn't mean they're going to play the same way off-site.
It's been a struggle so far for the defense no matter what, so I mean, whether you're playing off-site, on-site, I don't really know if it's really going to matter. Based on how effectively these Jackals have been able to clamp down on the roamers.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that Penta is not going to be bringing a Jackal this round. But
oh, the big change.
Yeah, that could be actually really good for Chaos, considering how heavily they like to roam here.
Well, and I mean, Sir Boss was one of the stars of last round on that Jackal.
Yep. He certainly was. Now he's going to have to prove his worth on IQ instead, which also makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've got the Yokai, you've got the Valkyrie, you've even got Pulse. So I think IQ is definitely a good operator to bring, though I don't know if Jackal was the operator I would have rotated in order to bring IQ.
Yeah.
I would have brought both. You know, maybe one less hard destructor, but it's also hard to tell where you're going to be attacking, so I understand why they're going to bring both hard destructors. What if they go downstairs again? You would ideally want to have both the Thermite and a Hibana there. So, can't really fault Penta for that decision-making process, but it is going to hurt them not having a Jackal here for sure. Especially considering how heavily we see Chaos roaming.
Yep, and we'll see again if they're able to manually take that apart this round. They know someone's going to be playing over here in open area. Very likely to be snooking again. So they have some idea on what the positioning is like, but secretly playing on this Pulse is also going to have some idea on what their positioning is going to be like. Hopefully this time he's going to be a little smarter with the C4. Although I believe last time they didn't have a Pulse. I think it was just the Valkyrie with the C4. So they've got two. Could be a kill right here. Unfortunately does not land it. Maybe has the opportunity to shoot it, but looks the wrong direction. No, he was outside. That's why those outlines tend to trick us. As well as it tricked him. That's where map knowledge is important for Pulse players.
Unfortunate. I mean, it's really hard to tell. There's no like apparent cutoff distance when you're downstairs, so it can be really hard to understand that situation. Serbas sees the Yokai drone through the floor, going for the shots, and unfortunately will not be able to land them. So could get that Yokai drone kill. It would be really, really good for them in the long run of this round.
Yeah, definitely would be if they can manage to pull it off. But they were mostly hitting steel bars, unfortunately. Secretly doing a lot of rotating around here, actually, to try and keep his position of surprise. But panics with the opening kill onto Snookin. That's the smoke going down, who was the one trying to make the clutch last time on this site.
Yeah, the SMG-11 still a viable weapon, or so says Panics. He's still using it. Quite a lot of other players are too. I think the best SMG-11 player I've seen post-patch is probably Bosco. Bosco just has been shredding with it for some reason. Still good. I mean, he was always one of the better pulses out there, but still, despite the changes, still good at it. Hungry, nice angle play there through the main stairs. Crips will go down, and Renewal is going to be able to gather a lot of information over by Square's Skylight. And Yokai actually just barely managed to land. Red Groove trying to deny the push-in through the big desk here yet again. And you can see that C4 is now in place. You talked about it earlier, as they really needed this to happen. Renewal still has the Yokai drone over here, but it looks like it may have been shot by Serbas. So it's all going to be up to Red Groove, and he has actually been downed, and he will be finished off by Panics. Renewal's a very long angle kill there onto enemy, but secretly goes down, leaving Renewal's now in the 1 versus 4. And it's just not going to happen. Serbas gets the final kill, and almost again. Penta win it 4-4.
Well, quite the turnaround here. So far, looking like a mirror of the first half.
Yeah.
We had 4 attack rounds in a row and then a defense. And if we have the same thing, of course, that ends in a tie.
Yeah.
But we're at a tie right now, so looking very possible here.
It definitely looks like this will be a draw. If Chaos can win a single defensive round.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to put it past them for them to win 2. I have no idea why this is so decidedly one-sided for the attackers. It's kind of counter to the mentality of Bank. Usually Bank is a little bit more edged towards the defense. But then again, we've been seeing Coastline go in favor of the defense as well, which is usually an attacker-favored map. So I guess I can understand it.
Everything shifts by region, by team, by season, by meta, by operator bans. There's so many factors now.
The thing, and it just keeps moving. I always like to say, the meta is cyclical, so you're gonna see a series of Bank wins with defense being the favorite side, and then you're gonna see a series of Bank wins with attack being the favorite side. It just happens.
Keeps it interesting though.
It does keep it interesting, and these teams are proving how close they are in this matchup right here by putting it to a 4-4 and winning on the same side.
Well, they are going to be getting lockers again. Now, of course, they did not succeed on that, but then again, they haven't succeeded on tellers either. So unlike Penta, they're not going to go to their 3rd bomb site yet, something we saw them do a little bit earlier on. They're just going to rotate between these 2, see if they can do it more successfully. We are going to see Serbas go back on that Jackal, though it didn't seem to need it last round, but he's definitely going to have it again this round for these plays. We will see Snookin again back on that smoke as well. So nothing too different here from these attack or defense lineups. Not going to see that Vigil being attempted again, for example, but either way, they're going to be setting up a deployable shield on the stairs, something that Panics didn't do in his defense of the server stairs.
Well, the big question is, will the defense be able to win a round? They've already won 1 round on the first half.
Single round.
Penta managed to take it. Was the last one, or last attempt, and it was close, but they managed to make it work. Chaos have since not been able to win a defense round, and it just looks like
Looks like a
the attack is heavily favored.
yeah.
And the roamers are always shut down with relative ease, thanks to the great application of the Jackal. Meanwhile, the abundance of hard destructors, as neither of them were banned, or none of them were banned if you count Maverick in this situation, means that opening up all these angles to apply pressure to their defense is really quite easy. There's also always a soft destructor to open up all the potential soft walls, and there's been some good maneuvering from the attackers.
You know what we're not seeing though either? We're not seeing any mutes or bandits to be able to stop those walls from being easily open.
I mean, on a map like this, it kind of makes sense. There's only certain places where those operators will be useful here. And on the basement, there's not really any. Red Groove using his yokai to drone out for Secretly and call the push. This is a really interesting position from Secretly. He's playing very aggressively at the top of these server stairs. Shield could actually aid him quite a bit here. Ravon's going to get the first kill, though, of the round, and Renewal's Renchiro going down inside of, I believe, the server. Grenade, wow, hits the floor, but it's a three-way trade here as Secretly is down by the already tossed grenade, and it's going to be Crips to secure all the kills. Oh, but no, he cannot get the Zofia. A missed opportunity, and Snookin's going to triple up on it. He wants these frags as much as the last two defenders, but you could see the attack is aware of this now, and they're holding the angles fiercely at the top of those stairs, waiting for the push. The lifeline will confirm Snookin's presence at the top of the stairs. An enemy drops down and gets the kill, leaving just Red Groove in the 1 versus 3. Luckily for Red Groove, though, 3 very lit attackers. Did I say 3? I meant 2. Hungry on about a single point of HP. Playing the long angle, Red Groove will spot him, but not actually be able to take the shot. He's just got to wait for a little bit longer, sees the player planting in default spot, but not going for it, looking for the cover. He will get the cover, whips out the SMG, and gets the final kill. Red Groove with the clutch. Chaos win their very first defensive round, and they put themselves on match point.
Well, now this is where things get interesting, of course. We either get a tie, or Chaos managed to pull ahead with their early lead finally turning into something. That has been an interesting stall out, though, going from so many attack rounds. Or at least they won their defensive round sooner than we saw from Penta. But both teams won it on lockers only. That was seeming to be the only bomb site they could win it on. And that's going to be interesting now that they have no choice. But they have to go to a different bomb site. And open area, they are really gambling here.
Well, nobody's gone to open yet. So it's something new.
But how often is it won?
Rarely. So this is probably going to be a draw.
Yeah, it's a big gamble.
Unless Chaos does something absolutely insane right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible. That was a nice round just previous. It was kind of surreal the way it played out, to
I
be
really
honest.
enjoyed that fight over the server stairs.
Yeah, you don't see stuff like that happen very often. So, cool.
Yeah.
It was neat.
Cool.
It was neat, and I like the way they played it.
All right.
But how are they going to play open area successfully, especially without something like a Mira? You know, Mira being banned in this matchup, it's a large tool that you do really need, or not. It's very important to have here. And not having a Mira is going to make holding the A bomb site extremely difficult. Usually, what you'll see here is an anchor inside of B, Mira window facing towards A from B, and just play off of that until you get the win.
Yeah.
And the reason being, of course, is because you cannot apply vertical pressure to the B bomb site directly. It is indestructible from above. So, yeah, that's usually how open area plays out. But Chaos is going to have to roam quite a lot more in order to make this work.
Well, we'll see if they could pull it off. They do at least have the roam of Vigil, and they have Renewals able to pull off his yokai drone fun magic on this site here. If he can get in the right spots, not get caught out by Revan's IQ, which was definitely something that Revan was trying to do previously. So there's a good chance he might be able to spot those again if he's able to get over top on some soft floors, which he's certainly spotting a lot already. So I'm not sure how effective those are going to be. Going to have to come down to possibly some good flanks from Crips, perhaps.
Perhaps. We'll see. I mean, that's usually how these rounds play out. First minute is usually just positioning. Nothing crazy happening right now. Penta's just inching their way into Square Skylight, looking to try and dictate this area. Very good position to hold. It means you can push, apply pressure onto the archives, which is being used by Chaos. You can also cut off rotation from the top of server stairs. So where Sir Boss finds himself right now is definitely a very influential position.
Yep, definitely going to be a big deal here. A lot of droning coming out, though, on this side. Just Sir Boss, the only one doing it, though. That kind of worries me a little bit that you have only the Ash droning right there. It looks like the rest of the drones might just be upstairs. No. Either way, though, we are going to see Revan enter actually from the lobby, which is going to be a bit risky if he isn't droning at first because you see a sneaky little Crips there. He is going to get himself spotted, though, by shooting that drone, unfortunately. And now it's going to be on Renewals, who's going to be trying to take a long angle, hoping to catch him come in. And then Destruction from above. A nice distraction.
Nice distraction, but bad shots from Renewals, and great shots from Panics, resulting in a lead here for Penta early on. So reinforcing the theory of draw already. You can see that Penta has great spots to hold any rotations on the roamers that are the main focus for Chaos. Chaos is trying to hold on to Archives and Tellers as long as they can, and it's already looking bad for them. Crips is going to be the main roamer in this position, but he's being pressured by the lifeline, and that's being called out to Ravon, who's pushing in and will get the kill. So 2 roamers by Teller's Archives eliminated. That pinch successful. Now Penta is going to be able to divert their focus to pressuring the site itself.
Well, 3v5 is not a great position to be in, but at least time working in their favor. Panic's actually getting shot. There we go.
And Red Groove will get a kill, so it's not over for Chaos yet, especially after Secretly manages to get one, but Ravon more for him, and he's still in play. Secretly is in a big flank position, but as the Thermite charge detonates, Snookin is not in a great spot. He's going to need the support of his teammate, and he's called that for Secretly to just fall back now, especially with so little time. Oh no! Snookin going undetected in the corner. Enemy will refrag, but Secretly, what is happening? Almost with the clutch, but Ravon's able to get the final kill, and it will be a draw.
5-5. To be expected, I suppose, after what you said at the beginning there, but it is interesting to see Chaos able to at least pull out a draw against the higher ranked team.
Yep.
So that's good for them as they have been struggling. 1 point is not going to be great, but either way, a good play from both teams. It was so attacker-sided. The 2 defensive wins, 1 for each team, and that's it.
Yeah, you just don't usually see that happen, man. Yeah. I'm kind of a little taken aback by that by that draw, the way it played out so predictably. But we did see what we expected at the beginning.